Hello everyone, we're back again with another commentary. I do not expect the frequency in which I've done these two EcoQuest games to be the norm for my channel, because they are definitely not the norm. It's been really exciting because I never completed either the first or second EcoQuest when the games first came out. I bought them. As soon as I was aware that they were out back in the day. I remember playing a little bit of the first. I think I remember getting underwater and then not getting past that. I do not remember ever playing EcoQuest 2. Or, sorry, technically this game is not EcoQuest 2, even though it technically is, because it is all the same characters continuing on with Adam and his father. But the game actually does not have EcoQuest anywhere in the title. It's simply called Lost Secret of the Rainforest. At any rate, I thought when I first started playing, I thought, okay, maybe something along the way is going to trigger that I have played this before, that at some part it's going to be familiar to me. As it turned out, 0% of this game is familiar to me, so I apparently bought I'm going to call it Eco... Oh, see? And it's not EcoQuest, it's Eco. See, I knew I was going to already mess that up. So if you watch my other commentary, there's a whole thing where since day one that I bought these games, I was calling it EcoQuest because it's ECO. Someone on the Sierra forums corrected me and said that's probably pronounced Eco, which makes way more sense because it's about being eco-friendly and everything like that. So I should have known since day one that it was called the EcoQuest. But I still frickin' call it EcoQuest. So my apologies for already messing that up and calling it EcoQuest when it's technically EcoQuest. So this game does not say EcoQuest 2 anywhere on there. It is simply called Lost Secret of the Rainforest. And it's part of, I guess, Sierra perhaps was rebranding to try to get more of a learning side. Because at the very beginning it says this is part of the Sierra Discovery series. So it's no longer EcoQuest, but maybe I think Sierra was trying to rebrand back then and make games that would be for a younger audience. And so anyway, after starting to play, I'm just going to call it EcoQuest 2. I may still mistake and call it EcoQuest if I get forgetful. I quickly realized I've never played this game before, ever. So I apparently bought it brand new back in the day, and then I opened it at some point because I didn't have a sealed copy of it, but I don't know what I ever did with it. I don't know if I installed it and just never got around to it, or what the story is as to why I bought this when it came out, but then never played it. Or if I did, there is zero memory of anything in this game. Everything felt brand freaking new. And so that said, the first EcoQuest felt much easier. It felt very logical, I guess you could say, is how the puzzle would move. So everything you needed, you always knew it was there. This game seemed a little bit tougher. So here at the beginning, your father tells you, hey, look around while I discuss what's going on. I need to figure out what's happening. And there are these two women here who are selling a thing, some candy or whatever. And it seems to allude to the fact that Adam needs to get it. So, maybe this candy is going to be used somewhere later on in the quest. And when I finished this game, I did not have anywhere near full points at all. I think I was 200 points off or something like that. So there may be something about getting this candy, but I could not figure it out. But it seems to imply that there is some way. And it seems odd because there are two people there who are selling. So it seems like they're there for a reason, but I could never figure it out. And similar to the first EcoQuest, one of the things that I did struggle with in that game, despite how much easier it is the fact that it was sometimes difficult to tell if you can go to the left or to the right of the screen, and that happens in this game too, a few times. But suddenly, it was right then and there, I realized, oh, I can go to the right. There is a whole pier over here, and there's this boat leaking oil, and this is where you see the bad guy. So that bad guy that you saw up there that has blonde hair, he is the bad guy. The guy that was in front of you when you first come into the game, and he's getting his passport. So there are, this part of the game right here also has a few random things that can happen. So for example, right now in the background, there are two people that seem to be right there that seem to be talking, and there's nothing you can do, but if you exit the screen and come back, later on there'll be a photographer there. And the photographer, takes a picture and throws something on the ground, which you can then recycle. And so from here, though, you cannot actually walk to the right. You actually have to go back to where you were, go up a little bit, and then go to the right. So now you'll see this is the photographer I was talking about. So the screen changes, and what's odd is if you get what you need here without seeing the photographer, it's an easy way to lose those points right there. So see, it says Adam can't get there. So when I go to walk over there, well, now it's gone, which seems odd. Like, why wouldn't it just stay there so that you can get the points if you see it? And that guy right there, it just dawned on me. He is also the guy, he looks so innocent and kind of like, I don't want to say simple-minded, but kind of like easygoing. He ends up being someone you see later. It just dawned on me now seeing him again, who captures Adam, and probably was one of the more difficult parts of the game for me. So like I said, having finished this and being so many points away from the full score, I know I missed a lot. And thinking about it, I don't know where I missed it. Again, unless it's this whole candy thing where the people are gone now. So you can see I'm walking back and forth because I'm waiting for this photographer to drop that paper so I can get those points. But again, I was quite a few points away from actual being able to get the full score, but I didn't feel like I missed much. There is one part of the game later on, I'll talk more to it when we get there, but something really bad happens while you're in the rainforest and you meet a bunch of bats, and you have to distribute these leaves, and I couldn't figure it out. So I just did it by, I'm going to give each one a leaf until it's the right one and then go that route. When I should have, the e-coder that we're currently looking at, I believe, in hindsight, that had I looked here, because you can scan the bats that you encounter, had I looked here, it would have probably given me a clue as to which leaf goes to which bat. So I did not do that. As a matter of fact, I think that is the one and only time I actually use the encoder, and it's just because you have to gather information. Or, I'm sorry, not to gather information because I'm gathering information there, but to actually look at it to see the additional information it gives me. I pretty much took this as almost like the recycling thing, where you are just going around and you're picking up the recycle stuff for points. So it's just a way to say, hey, if you want to look at this and learn a little bit more about what you're looking at, you can do so. I did not consider the fact, again, until now, that it is probably there for a reason and that you can actually, get that information out of there. And so we see that Adam's father is robbed, and even though it's a shady place, and, they talk about how it could take a while, they say, hey, Adam, stay here. And so Adam does, and he falls asleep in the boat. And these two, I believe they're otters, they kindly kidnap Adam and take him away because they believe he can help. Now, one of the cool things that I really liked is if you look at the water here with the reflection of the tree, I do like how they did that. So it wasn't just, water waves, but they actually put like a reflective look to it, which I thought was a very, very nice touch. It's the small stuff like that that I really, really appreciate when games do this kind of stuff. Now, that monkey that we just saw, I believe we see that. I don't know if it's supposed to be the same monkey, but there's another part later on where we encounter a monkey that looks very similar to that one who is in distress. And I believe it's probably supposed to be the same monkey. All right, and the otters who have kidnapped Adam, and it's been at least a whole day because we saw the night pass. We now wake up and we talk to them, and they give us this thing called the forest heart. And they believe that we are the ones that are destined, if you will, to help the forest. Because the rainforest is in great jeopardy. And as you can see, with just like any Sierra game, if you look closely, there is something that's clearly out of place, and that is that dripping sap. And there's something there that looks like it could be trash, but it's actually a sappy leaf. And if you look, it says the ants are staying away from it, which is a clue as to what you might use that sap for. It's actually used, I think, quite a few times, if I remember correctly. I know it has more than one use. But what's funny is, even though it's, hindsight is 2020, I clearly know what the sap is for now. This portion here of getting up this tree, or what to do with this tree, took me much longer than it should have. I was pretty certain that the campfire over there to the right had something to do with it, like we had to do something with that. But it turns out that campfire being there actually ties to something that is up in the tree. So there is that. And there is nowhere else to go on the screen. So if you go left, it's back to the river. If you go, and every time Adam tries to climb, there's these bugs that swat all over him. So it doesn't matter where you try to climb, those bugs appear. So I was trying to say, maybe the forest heart, hey bugs, I'm with the trees. Maybe put the sap on the tree so that we can climb it. That's not the case. So the clear answer here, if it's not obvious, is you put the sap on yourself, which seems kind of like a sticky situation. Thought maybe putting the mask on myself might do the trick, but apparently it is indeed rubbing sap all over you. And so that tree right there is the clue. And this time when the bugs appear, they fly off. And so now you have to click your way up this tree. This tree was kind of tricky. Obviously, just like the previous EcoQuest, you want to talk to everyone, because they will all give you information and all also give you points, and of course you want to scan them as well. So this tree, like I said, it was a little bit of a struggle to know that you could actually climb to certain parts. Like, it wasn't clear to me that you can climb all the way to the top, past that toucan at the very top. Because it seems like when you climb there, Adam immediately goes to the right, as if going up higher is not possible. But you can clearly see the tree goes up higher, and there's that hummingbird that comes from there quite a few times. And so what we have here is a small little fire in the nest, and the two birds are distressed. Everyone is distressed. Again, that hummingbird coming up from the top. I kept trying to get to the nest, thinking there was a way to just get to the nest. And you can see me frantically clicking around the tree, trying to see where Adam can go. And over to the left, we get an arrow. where we can see a little bit more. We can use the encoder to see a few more things, but there's no way for Adam to get any further. It's just this branch that leads into the screen, or at least not yet. So now we've got an extra flower, not sure what to do with it yet. And you can see I clicked up, and then Adam just went up a little bit. And then a snake appears if you try to go to the left, because we have to do something before that snake moves out of the way. And since it said the flowers were fragrant, I tried to put it on myself because the snake says he has poor eyesight, but he can sense things by tremor. And finally, we get an up arrow. Wow. Finally. And there's that crazy bird who refuses to move, and he is, according to everyone else, very stinky because he believes the sky is falling kind of thing. Pardon me, I just got home, so I'm taking off my shoes. This is how dedicated I am. Like, I got home and I ate my dinner, and then I immediately went to doing a commentary video. Didn't even take off my shoes yet. So some of those plants, they talk about how they have water in it. So that one I'm able to tip over. But you can already tell that doesn't align to the nest. But it hit the other two guys and said, hey, what's the deal? So now you kind of know there's those other plants just past that stinky bird that you can access that have probably water in them as well. And those are lined up right above the nest. So we already know that's pretty much what we got to do to put out the fire that is on the nest. And I just knocked down an external drive. And there we go. So now we've tipped over that plant. Now the fire is out and everyone's happy and the egg hatches. And so they mentioned the Grove people. So now we have an idea that there's someone else or something else out here that we need to make contact with. And you can see the snake has now left. We just saw him suddenly slither away. And they all say, the Grove people, you're the one. So now we just need to find it. And since the snake is gone, we can now traverse this way, which now gets us into this tree. And if you watch closely, that salamander that just went by essentially shows you the way of where to move next. And we just saw a guy jump off that branch. And there's something on the edge of that branch that we can see but can't quite get to. And if you try to go back that way, a jaguar appears, which means you're not going that way. Not if you know what's good for you. And the jaguar is not interested in the forest people or anything like that. I think he's just interested in food. So as we go to pick up the little drum thing, the branch breaks and we plummet into the mud. Now next to us is something, kind of looks like a vine, which we'll need to use to get out of the mud that we're stuck in. So first we have to throw some fruit to lure the creature closer, lasso it, and then it'll pull us out. And miraculously, as Adam is pulled out, he's made clean. The village, however, looks pretty abandoned, so there isn't much to do here yet, but that's a drum piece, and we have another drum piece here. Now, it should have been Captain Obvious to me as to what to do here, but I totally missed the whole thing until it took me, I think, 2 or 3 hits, and I was like, oh wait, now I see a pattern. Let me just blaze through it, then do this the correct way. And I messed that one up, so I just blaze through it again. Sometimes my mouse is moving a little too quickly and messed it up again. And then there we go. Once you get it correct, it replays it for you. That note or that drum thing is something that you'll use more than once. So the first thing I did was after I played it, I noticed it didn't do anything. It just gave me points. So that's pretty much just telling you, here's how you use the drum. Now make sure you take it because you're going to need it later. I didn't take it yet, but I'll go back and I'll see that it is not pinned to the floor. So it's something that we could definitely take again. And every time we try to go in the shaman's tent, well, we don't know it's a shaman tent yet. We will learn that it is the shaman's hut. Or actually, we did learn because we used the encoder on it, and the encoder tells you it's a shaman's hut. So we swing over there, and again, it looks like we can try to get to those plants, and if you just click it, Adam just automatically climbs up. But if you try to move north, it's difficult. You just have to click on the plant. And it'll say it's not ripe enough yet. So something probably has to happen because those plants are sticking out of place. So we know there's probably more to those plants. So nothing really to do in the village. Making sure we can't go anywhere else or look at anything else. So we can go in that first room. There's a thick thing, and immediately noticeable is the fact that that thing is also missing a drum. This one doesn't have it. And this one. So once again, gonna have to make our way back and collect that drum we left behind. Wanted to make sure we didn't need the drumstick also. You know, it's amazing as I'm talking to this is moving at what I would call like a regular speed if you know what you're doing. But this is sped up considerably. It's my playthrough sped up considerably. My original playthrough of see, I almost call it EcoQuest again. My original playthrough of EcoQuest 2 was, I think, almost 4 hours. And sped up as it is right now, because what I usually do is I take the video and I'll speed it up so that I don't have to talk for 4 hours. I figure being sped up, it's still moving fast enough that I can usually talk to it. And then even in areas where I don't talk to something, what I'll do is I'll take that segment and speed it up further. But the point of the fact that my playthrough is 4 hours and some change, and this is sped up to currently at this speed right now, an hour and a half, and it still looks normal. So anyone who plays EcoQuest 2 could probably finish this game in about an hour, hour and a half, if they know everything that they're doing. Which will be good, because eventually what I would like to do with this channel, because eventually I'm going to run out of Sierra games to play, or even Sierra-like games. So for example, I played Blue Force, which is technically not a Sierra game, it's a Tsunami game. But it was made by the maker of Police Quest, which is Jim Walls. And I've played Space Venture, which is, you know, from the two guys from Andromeda. I plan on replaying that again now that the early access is officially on Steam. You should go check it out. But I do plan on playing that again for the channel. It's been tidied up very, very nicely. And yours truly, not only being a major Kickstarter backer, I was also part of, they called it the Andromeda Underground. So there was a handful of us, I think like 10 of us, that were basically out there to help promote it back in the day, like going to different forums and stuff like that, Facebook and other social media, to talk about Space Venture and the Kickstarter while it was still in progress. But I kept in really close contact with Chris Pope, and it was really cool. I wish I'd recorded it, did a video of it. I'm sure he would have been fine with it, because it would have been really cool to put on my channel too. But he had reached out to me because I was always providing feedback and being very a lot of people were impatient, which I get. You know, the Kickstarter started in 2012 and here we are in 2025, and it's the full release isn't out yet. The version that's out there now on Steam is great. It is pretty much close to the full release, but even in the early beta release, there was a bunch of bugs. But it was still a very incredible game. Anyway, I kept in close contact with Chris Pope, and so one day he shot me a message and was like, "Hey, do you mind if we do a video conference together? I want to ask you something." And I was like, "Sure, yeah, of course." And all this time, I'd always been super open with Chris and stuff like that, and just talking to him and stuff like that. So when he did the video conference, he said, "Hey, you've been super helpful. You've been a great resource. You've done all this wonderful stuff. I would love for you to do a little bit more and really, really help us with some other stuff." So I helped basically write the walkthrough since I'd played the game through the numerous beta testing and various builds. So I helped write the walkthrough. They had already had most of it, but I ended up going in there and writing some more. Much to my surprise, I injected a lot of humor in the walkthrough for the steps that I was adding to give it that Space Quest flavor, or the Space Venture Space Quest flavor that was so common, the very dry kind of humor. And Chris Pope came back at me and was like, "Hey, the two guys, they just want just a clean walkthrough. They just want it. They don't they don't want anyone to be like further frustrated by little snarky, funny comments." So I think they took most of that out. But also, I was constantly doing different builds for them, like a lot of testing. So they put me in there as quality assurance. So if you beat the game, you'll see me in there in the Kickstarter list, but also you'll see me in the special thanks for all the beta testing. And then they have me in there as the one of the two members who did the quality assurance, which I thought was really cool. And now for the life of me, I can't remember why I went down that rabbit hole. Oh, playing different games. So beating this game in like an hour or so. What I want to do is eventually go back through all the Sierra games and basically make videos that are a walkthrough. And then I would timestamp it. So like if you need help with this, here's a timestamp for that. If you need help for this, here's a timestamp for that. And that's my next goal if I keep doing this. But again, I do play other Sierra games in between. Like I was saying, Blue Forest, Space Venture, and there's another one. Now that I've beaten EcoQuest 2, there's another game. It's not a Sierra game. It's not by anyone who is from Sierra, but it's some indie person. I don't want to reveal what it is yet. But I came across it, and there's 3 of them in the series. So I'm going to at least play the first one, see what it's like, because I don't know anything about it, other than that it looks like Conquest for Camelot, or the Conquest of Longbow, has that very similar vibe and feel and look, and even kind of that whole same, because it's like it's an adventure game, but there's dwarves and stuff in it like that. I haven't got very far in it because I just started playing it yesterday. So there are other games that I do plan to play in between to kind of be able to give this channel life and make it last as long as possible and not run out of content. But that said, we did the drums inside the forest heart, and you go in there. After you do the drums, you can go to the 3 different spots. They're all open now after you do the drum sequence correctly. You talk to them, you talk to the heart, say you're willing there to help, and then you get these other things inside there. Then you run back outside, and now everyone's in the village, and then you can talk to the village, and everyone in the village has a different problem that you need to help. Like 2 people are bickering, so you have to figure out how to help them. One of them lost something, so you need to help them with that. And then try to see the shaman, and the shaman's like, "Hey, he's not around, but I'm sure he'll help you if you can help everyone else." And the 3 women here, they need something for a potion. The shaman wants something to capture the skylight something. So now we're back. We're talking about EcoQuest 2 now. And so the baby's crying because the baby's been stung by a bee. And so there is a brew you need to make, but you need to get a few things in order to get the brew. And if you can get a few things, then she'll give you something. And, it's typical Sierra game. If you help one person, they give you something that will move your quest into something else. So one of the things you find over there is that it says it's a dolphin tooth, which I think is weird, because in the first one, your good friend is a dolphin. It seems weird that he's so okay with handing over a dolphin tooth. And so she is the one that's bickering with the person that was here with this guy. And she gives you her necklace that has some really small writing on it, which will come into play later. He hands you a machete, which you can give to the girl over here, who is complaining that they call her lazy because she can't get the plants fast enough, and she's complaining that she doesn't have something sharp enough. So she uses the plant or the machete to cut the plant, which gives you the root, which these three women want. So they need a root to make a special brew. And this part had me stuck for a while too, because they talk about how they need to mix the root and they have to do all this stuff. And I couldn't figure out what to do here for a while because it wasn't super obvious to me where we go from here, because nothing's opened up, nothing's changed too much. We still have to assist these villagers, and that's usually how EcoQuest works, is you're helping the people in that area before you kind of ever move on to a different area. So there's definitely something more to do here. It just took me a while to figure it out. And the boy right there, when you talk to him who's playing the drums, he talks about how this man over here has helped him with the drums, and he's said too much and stuff like that, while this guy is just saying, hey, you need to do a thing before the shaman will see you. And that also took me, I was talking about playing the other games, but the first time I came in here, I tried to walk up to that, where the throne, I guess you could call it, or the heart of the forest, to see if it would work. But you have to click your hand on it to actually sit, and then that's what triggers her to see. So when you try to give her what you have already, the sap, she says it smells close, but something's missing. That's what it is. You need to capture the sky sapphire, which is clearly that blue butterfly that's now flying around on the other two screens. So I kind of wish the game was a little bit easier in the fact that if you put the cup down, or if you put the cup to the man, he says, hey, just leave it there and the shaman will look into it. And you can see now it's been changed, because I tried to hand it to him and he doesn't say anything. So it'd be kind of nice if he would have said, hey, I can't make that, just put it on this bench here. That was pure luck of putting that thing there. I just saw a bench and thought, let's see if it's kind of like EcoQuest 1. If you remember, there's the scene with the jar. You put it in front of the octopus, and you either leave the screen, or I discovered on accident you can hide in the seaweed next to the octopus, and he cracks it open. So that was sheer luck of seeing that bench and thinking, I wonder if it's like EcoQuest 1. I'm just going to put it on this bench and see if he does anything with it. And sure enough, he did. So once you get that sweet drink, you have to go to this screen for the butterfly to land on that leaf, so that you can basically lure it to the cup because it smells sweet, and then bring it to this guy. And he says, fly free. And he says, you've done as I asked. Come on in. And when you go in, shocker, he is the shaman. This, so he says, now you have to become one of us to prove it. And this was a little bit tricky too, because I felt like I was clicking on the right thing, but just not exactly right on the right spot. Now, one of the things to note is, as soon as you sit down, it begins to rain outside. You see it slowly at first, but then the hut starts to leak and it drips on that spider, who now moves in the way of the bowl in front of you, which tells you that bowl is probably the first thing you need to do. Well, first you need to figure out what to do about the roof, since it's leaking on the spider's area, and what to do next. So by clicking on the ceiling, Adam will apply the sticky stuff onto the roof, which stops it from leaking. And so now the spider is off of the bowl that you need. And this still, like, feel like I'm literally clicking it and it's like, nope. But it is clicking that first thing with the berries. See? That first click was on that bowl and it's like, nope. And finally it works. And then the question, if you are brave as bats, the manual has those pictures inside. So I don't know if the question is randomized or not, or if there's just a bunch of images to explain what's what. But you have to look in the manual to see what the correct answer is, if it is randomized. Now, I was pretty certain that they were going to allude to Adam and this young girl developing a crush on each other, because when you talk to her, she says something about the shaman says she doesn't have to worry about something about like boys or whatever. And so that kind of indicate like, oh, you know, you'll be all right. Something's coming your way. And I thought they were alluding to the fact that it was going to be Adam and her. Like I thought at some point she was going to be in trouble. Like the bad guy was going to use her as some kind of hostage or whatever. But that was not the case. So they probably didn't want to put, I'm thinking about it now. We don't know how old Adam is, but he's older than he was before. They probably don't want to do a romantic relationship with a young boy if they had young people playing it, feeling obligated that they had to be in a relationship or whatever. I don't know. Or maybe just that was never in their plans to have Adam perhaps get a girlfriend. And then now here's the bad guy. He sets fire. And the fire spreads rapidly and destroys pretty much everything. And from here on, it goes pretty much south for everyone. So Adam encounters this bat, which is, I think it's supposed to be the same bat. So when you normally go into the top menu, there's a bat there that gives you random facts. I believe it's supposed to be her. And just as you go to try to cut her free, a hand rests on your shoulder. And the bad guy is here, and he says, hey, you better show me the way. And there's the guy from the boat. Like, it didn't dawn on me when I played this the first time. That is the same guy that's sitting on the pier near the fishing net. He bears a striking resemblance to the pimp in the EGA version of Leash Suit Larry 1, except for ethnicity, but the build is very, very similar. And we see here that, I don't know why a carrot is a lock, but that's what the lock is for this bat in a cage. And he plans to eat the bat. So if you're wondering why that bat is in a cage, he plans on eating it. Now, this part of the game, I don't think I cut any of it out. But this the way EcoQuest works, both the first and second one, the first one says there is no dead end. And in hindsight, I think maybe it's where the barrels were. I thought there was a dead end, but it's probably in the chest where you find it, the suit. But it's similar in EcoQuest 2. There is no dead end. There is no death or at all. So there's no way to die in this game. But you can repeatedly get captured over and over and over again in this room, which happens, I mean, I'm not joking. I want to say it's probably about 30 or 40 times that you will see me messing up and getting captured and stuff like that. So the first thing we do is we move the tiger rug, and it will reveal a hole in the floor. Inside that chest is a tennis racket for who knows what reason. There's a safe there where we don't know the combination. There is a TV that is just displaying nothing. There's a fax machine about some deals, some questionable deals. And so we just pulled the first sheet, and this is what tricked me for a good while, is there's actually a second sheet to pull there. And as soon as you go outside, the guy sees you and ties you up, takes all your stuff. And so it's pretty much all out in the other room. And so it's a rinse repeat over and over again. And I think every time you mess up, the bat tries to give you a little clue as to what to try. So you can see that he's covered the hole again. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, you'll see later, finally, I do get past this whole section of being trapped here. And I climb down that hole by tying the two blankets together, which I'll get here in a moment. I'll finally get another blanket here in a second. By tying them together and descending down from that hole. Now, after making that guy who keeps capturing me, after making him leave by dealing with something, I'll talk about that when I get to it, I descended down through the tied blankets, and I looked, and there was no stairs or anything. So I climbed back up and went out through the front door, now that I knew that the guy was gone, to see how he was getting up and down. And there is no way of him getting up and down. He would literally have to go through the hole. But in order to go through the hole, he would need a way down. So the blankets aren't tied to the bed to escape when he leaves. So how is he leaving this building every time he captures me? And how are people getting in and out? Like the guy, whoever it is, like the main bad guy, who uses this computer and this satellite thing that's outside. How is he getting in and out of this building? Like, that is not made clear at all, because there's no stairs outside. There's no way. You can see it right there. There's no way down. It's literally the only way in and out appears to be that hole. There's no stair in the background that you can see, nothing. It's literally that hole is the only way in or out. So I don't think they thought that through in terms of logic, like how this guy's getting in and out of this place as well. I'll probably fast forward a lot of these getting captured even further, because there's not a lot to say. It's me messing up repeatedly. Even when I finally do get out, see, there's the blanket and then there's the book. So I went to, ironically, move the tiger that time, and I tried to move it from the back since I was on that side of getting the blanket, and tugging the tail actually spits out a note, and on that note is a password. So if you open the little black book thing, whatever this is, if you turn it on and then try the different things, it's got some really questionable names in there, and then it says enter a password, which that is that password. So that's me writing it on a piece of paper. If anyone knows what that's supposed to spell or what that represents, feel free to let me know down in the comments. Or if you've ever been in a rainforest, let me know down in the comments what it's like to be in a real rainforest. So 582, after you enter in that secret code, now that can only be one thing. That has to be the safe. And all you have to do is click one thing and Adam takes it all. So one of the things to note is that mask has a big bulge. When you click on it, there's a coin there. And inside, you can tell that the thief is connected to this, because in the beginning, in the intro, your father has his briefcase stolen. There's a picture of you and your family, which there would be no way for them to have it unless they had stolen it to know. So again, I'm captured. Rinse and repeat. So what I was doing here is I was looking for a phone number, because there was that fax machine. I was pretty certain that you have to fax your father and let him know what's going on, something like that. And you'll see eventually when I get outside, I also start thinking that, oh, okay. So what we have to do, since that TV's all, all fuzzy, we have to move the satellite to get a better signal. And so you tie the sheets to the bed, and you can see the guy, he does his little dance. And unfortunately, there's no way to pass this dance. You literally have to wait for it. And unfortunately, I make the mistake of getting caught a few times before I save after he does that dance, so that I don't have to keep waiting for him to finish that dance. Alright, this is where I get caught, like, repeatedly. So I'll shut up for a moment and we'll probably zoom past a lot of this at a much quicker speed. So prepare for Adam and everything else to move at blinding speed any moment now. I will say, interrupting that warp speed moment there, that I was pretty sure that we had to disable that alarm because when you go up there, there's an alarm. So I tried a few times to click my hand on it, and I don't know if a few times I was just off or if that alarm has a timer on it that you can only be up there for so long before it goes off. So I ended up saving after he left so I could keep trying to deal with this alarm thing. And you can see like my hand was on it and it still went off. But indeed, all you have to do is get up there and click on it. I think you just have to click on a very specific spot. And don't touch anything else. Like, don't touch the satellite. Just go straight for that alarm. So now it says alarm is off. So just by clicking on it. So after you disable the alarm, that little wood piece breaks, which means you're not getting back down that way. There's an elastic thing that you find in the laundry, and you just tie it to yourself and you elastic your way down. Quickly hide. And wasn't sure where to go from here. I assumed after we got that, he would come back and you'd need to rinse, repeat the hide. But if you try to move straight, he will come out automatically, I believe. So he leaves again. And when you tell if you tell the bat you're ready, it says, oh, hurry up. So you know you're still not done because something else needs to happen. This guy's still here. We still need to find a way to escape. So far, we're just stuck to these two screens. And I wasn't so sure that you could go to the right because that's where he keeps going. But sure enough, there is eventually a way to get to the right. And where not to do it is near the bottom of the screen, because that's going to put you literally right in front of him. And also, don't go for the grain. At least, not by hand. And you can see, again, I've already been caught numerous times. So Try something different, and then sure enough, the vacuum cleaner is what works. And if you empty it, sure enough, there are seeds in there. So now the question is, what are we doing with the seeds? Or not seeds, grain, I guess. And I don't know why Adam thought that was hiding. He literally crouched right in front of him. So now, knowing that he is there, we'll try to exit over to the right higher on the screen. So we now know that east works because we can see the arrow. Now it's a matter of him getting out of the way again. Now it says there's a bird going squawk, which now probably tells you what we're going to do with the grain. So when the bird squawks, he leaves, but he comes back pretty quick. However, if he's reading and you're up there, you can get back there. Now, immediately noticeable is the axe as well as the birds. So we're going to try to give the grains to the birds here in a moment. And tragically, if you look at some of the birds with the eye icon, it'll tell you that he can't help the dead birds. So there are dead ones there as well, the ones that you see not flying away. And then the guy chases him, saying that the bad guy's going to kill him. So now we have free reign. So immediately the first thing that comes into mind is grabbing the axe, and then also that log that's right by the water. It looks like we would be able just to ride that log right out. Similar to like Leash Suit Larry 3. There's a scene where you jump on a log and you ride it through the river. I was assuming that's what was going to come next, because we don't have a lot of time. This guy eventually is going to come back after he can't catch the birds. And so now you can tell it's different. She says, "You make me so happy." So now we just need to figure out, we're getting closer, thinking that we just need to push this log, but it's too heavy. So I was thinking we can use the bulldozer to move it. Nope, that doesn't work. If the answer is not obvious yet, we have an axe. We have a piece of wood. You can maybe guess what we're going to do. We're going to make a canoe. And I was thinking, okay, we got to move the satellite. And then, of course, when you see this where my game is on a save restore area, and then the only option is to replace. I talk about this in every commentary that I do when this happens in a game. What I'm actually doing is I'm alt-tabbing, creating a new folder that's, in this case, EcoQuest to SG01, moving all the save games in there, so that way I can save a new game without overwriting anything in case I do need to go back. And sometimes what I'll do, when I remember, is I'll take my save games and I'll upload them somewhere so that others who may want to play and just use the save game to do something can use them. And so, see, here's what I was talking about, where I went outside and there's actually no way down except for this, through the blankets. There's no stairs, no nothing. Not even in the back where you can see, like, oh, there might be a locked door and some stairs, but nothing. So we're going to use an axe on this because it seems logical. But the fact that he whittled down this beautiful canoe without any concern that this guy who's chasing birds is going to come back is pretty crazy. Alright, and now with the canoe made, she says, "Lead the way." So we're going to jump in the canoe, kick it into the water, and I love that it took 2 kicks to kick it into the water. It wasn't just like he did it in one movement. I do like that small little detail, like he had to give it 2 good shoves for it to be in the water. So Slaughter is out there, and he's got a boat. And I didn't realize it at first that you have to paddle. and depending on if you paddle front or back, is he'll slow down or go faster. I don't know why you'd want to slow down, because there's a whirlpool, and then you fall. And this is the area that I was talking about. So you talk to the bat that's kind of like behind the desk, and it's a bat refugee. And there's different kinds of bats here. I think there's 5 different bats here. And you can talk to them all first and foremost, so that you get points for that. It also kind of gives you an idea what kind of bats they are. You'll talk to the guy who says you can't pass unless they have the proper documentation. The documentation is in the form of paper. And he says right now you're not authorized to touch them. So you still have to prove yourself to that bat. And by doing so, it's pretty much the Forest Heart will grant that for you. But he says paperwork, so I thought, oh, well, here's my ID. And he's like, no, we don't use that kind. But this is the section that I was talking about, where once we figure out that we show the Forest Heart to that guy, and he says, okay, well, I guess if there's any visas left, you can pass through. You just have to talk to the bats, figure out what they need, which is the proper one. And that's what I did when I got the visa thing. I don't know if they call it visa, but that's what I'm calling it. It's for the clearance to go in. I couldn't figure out what to do. So I have these 6 leaves and 6 leaves and 5 bats that I have to give them to. And so after trying a few times, I was just like, I'm going to keep trying to give this leaf to each bat until it goes to the right bat. And so that seemed like a little bit of guesswork, which to me didn't seem logical. One of the things I checked was, I think I even called one of the save games, is a bat thing in the manual or something like that. I even opened up the EcoQuest 2 manual and was looking through there to see if there was anything in there about these different types of bats, and maybe like what plants are native to their area or something like that. Because you can encode all the bats like what I'm doing now, but you cannot encode the plants. So other than looking at it, it just gives you a very brief description. And so I had thought that was kind of weird, but then in hindsight, after I beat the game, I thought about it and I was like, I bet you that after I encode the bats, if I go in there and look, it probably talks about something to do with the leaf and how that relates to them. So this part took a little bit longer than it should have. It was just guesswork of clicking on the leaf on each and every bat until the right one is accepted by each one, leaving one for Adam to finally be able to pass through. So you can tell if you give it to them, they'll be like, no, that's not for me. And then finally that one was like, yep, that's the right leaf for me. And then so one by one, this is how I did it. I just click one leaf, go to each bat and get them out. But again, that answer is probably in that encoder thing, and I just did not think of that while I was playing the game. I honestly thought the encoder was more of a, if you want to know more, here's some information. I did not think it was actually going to be a part of solving the puzzles, which is bad on me. I should have known that that wasn't in there for just any reason other than just being eco-friendly and, you know, sharing information about what you encounter in this world. And the bat you rescue is very sweet. She talks about like she doesn't want to leave without you, and you say that you'll catch up. And so with just the one leaf available, you are able to pass through. And there's a stone there, obviously drawing attention by flickering. And there is a bat hanging upside down, which looks like a vampire bat. And a statue of a cat. Couple of different things in here. So when you talk to him, he says, hey, you make me dizzy. And right next to him is a pole to hang upside down, which I thought was kind of cute, that Adam hangs upside down to talk to the bat. And so with that, you talk to the fake vampire bat and tell him about what happened in the fire and how you're there to help. And he says, place the stone on the panther statue. The panther hasn't come in a very long time since man became greedy, but perhaps you can awaken it again. And then the panther rises. And this part was pretty easy. You answer some questions based on what he's asking you. So as you answer each question correctly, it breaks away the chain. You just have to be able to understand, like, an ant can carry its own weight. No other can. I think there was only one that was kind of throwing me off. But overall, this is easy. I made no mistakes on this riddle thing. The green within, green without, that was the one that kind of made me think for a minute. I was like, well, we got a snake and a frog. And some of them are super obvious, like wings of color. There's one bird here with colorful wings. Nothing else had anything that was like colorful. So when he departs, he gives you wisdom that all that glitters is not gold. The bat tries to come down, and then she gets suddenly super sick and crashes. And she feels terrible. So now we need to go back up, talk to the bat, ask for his help. And he says, what you'll need to do is use this whistle, find the Fountain of Youth. It will possess a secret that will be able to cure her and fix many things, including the forest heart. But we can't leave because the passage is blocked, so we blow the whistle, jump in the boat, and we make our way. And then it's never clear what is throwing these coconut things at you. They're not coconuts, I forgot what they're called. But Adam ends up basically stuck swimming. And this one had me for a little bit too. Because naturally I just swam straight down, and there's this ivy thing that talks about that it's way down. There's these fruit that look like red bananas, but also looks like a trap. Knowing most Sierra games, that's usually like a snake or something is going to be there. But EcoQuest is not like a Space Quest. It's not a trick where it's a snake that you're climbing up. You actually climb up it and get a red banana. But then there's nowhere else to go except for up from this screen. So my original thought was maybe like a monkey is throwing it, and so I was trying to throw the banana at it. But sure enough, there is a howler monkey here. And this is the monkey that I was talking about that we see shortly after Adam gets kidnapped. We see a monkey briefly jump down. Don't know if it's supposed to be the same monkey or not. And the monkey is under duress because he is stuck. He can't swim. And there is a hawk that is bound to come and get him. And there's something white in the rocks next to him, which happens to be piranha teeth. Now, how Adam is swimming in water that potentially has piranha in it and not being eaten as much as Adam is treading water, I don't know. Like, if there were piranha in there, Adam probably would not have lasted long swimming as much as he is, treading as much water as he is. So I was thinking, give the monkey the teeth to fight the hawk that's coming for him. But that would have been too easy. This was another one, as you can tell by me speeding it up, that I was stuck with for a little while. And I'm a little bit ashamed of myself because that literally says it's super thick, and using the piranha teeth on it is what gets you the lily pad. So the howler monkey who said he couldn't swim, he basically cut it loose, jump on the lily pad, and bring it to him. And say, well, it's not big enough for both of us, but you tell the howler monkey to take it. And as he does, the hawk comes for you instead and drops you off. And then he says, you're an imposter, you're not the meat that I want, and I don't want to eat human. So now you need to talk to this hawk. Well, not talk to him, you need to verify with him that you are good. And so what you do is you show him the golden feather. I wonder if you showed him the heart of the forest, if that would have worked as well. And by showing him the golden feather, he takes you to this Aztec, or this lost city in the rainforest. And if you notice, there was a helicopter, undoubtedly the bad guy, following you. And this is one of the scenes where there's trash to pick up, but the game really didn't do a lot with the recycling of trash in this one. And one of the things you pick up here is a magnifying glass among the trash, and it shows basically a maze. Now, the maze, when we get to it here in a moment, was pretty difficult to maneuver through. I wish they would have just allowed you to use ASWD for movement, like left, right, up, down, or even the arrow keys, because moving in the maze was more difficult than it needed to be, I thought. We can see that if you sit on the thing, it opens up a door. If you just try to put the heavy gold on it, it opens, but it's not enough to go into. But if you sit on it, it opens up enough. So we need one more heavy thing. And that is a heavy coin. Not sure how that coin weighs as much as Adam, and Adam's carrying it around, but it is. This is the puzzle. And it's pretty easy to do if you just backtrace from the top of the puzzle and work backwards. But I am just gonna fast forward this part because you can see me just, well, you can't see me clicking, but I'm feverishly clicking to try to make a move in certain directions, and it doesn't seem to want to go. I would have even been more happy if they would have done this maze similar to how they did the city maze in Quest for Glory 2. Because you still have the map to kind of look at from the rock if you have the magnifying glass to find your way around. But this was originally quite painful to try to pull off. And rest assured, I hate the city maze in Quest for Glory 2. until you get the magic map. This part also threw me off. So we can see that this decoration is partially made. So you can see patterns along either the left, right, or whatever, like the red, gold, or whatever. And so we pretty much just need to make it match. So matching it opened something, couldn't figure out what to do next. We have a little thing of gold and a little headpiece. And there's holes there, so we can climb it, click on the tail, and it opens up. Now, silly me, thought that was it. So this took a few tries also of once you skip to that first small island out there, the little outcropping to the left, a giant serpent appears, which is pretty funny that, you know, the game is relatively realistic. Obviously, Adam speaking to animals is a little bit out there, but a huge giant dragon serpent thing surfaces up, which is odd for the genre that this game is trying to do of creating this very realistic type world. So this serpent here, like clearly in the time that we're currently alive, that thing does not exist. Obviously when there were dinosaurs, something like that may have existed, but this is supposed to be a game about what the world is like now. So it was very odd to see this huge giant serpent thing. This took me a bit because, of course, when I finished that puzzle in the previous screen and got the items, I thought, okay, cool, that was it. That was pretty easy. But if you remember, there's 3 different patterns. So, well, 2. There's one with the red, one with gold, and then there's one literally with no, it's basically 9 blank tiles. So this took me a while of being butted back and forth, trying to show this serpent thing that I'm supposed to be here, please let me through, before I finally decided, wait a minute, let me go back and look, because there was another pattern. I wonder if the other pattern unlocks something. And already I kind of have the right idea, like, put the crown on my head. So I got that part. But then I don't know what to do next. And if you look at that wall, it shows that the guy is doing something, but it's just not very clear. So I wish when you look at the wall, it would say, oh, you know, it looks like he's playing an instrument or something like that. So you can kind of guess at, oh, there's something else I need here, some form of instrument. Because there was indeed one more piece to get. And so I was stuck here for a little bit. Once I did that, guess what opens up? A little freaking wind chime thing. So I undo the puzzle in case the bad guy's behind me. But, you know, he's flying in a helicopter, so he doesn't really care about doing that part. He'll just land on the stupid island, which is what he does. Spoiler alert. So now we know what to do. We're going to put this on our head, and then we're going to blow the cute little whistle towards the creature. And sure enough, it serenades him to sleep. Probably like most of my playthroughs do for you. So now with him asleep, we can safely swim. This part also took me a while. This is what I mean by this game felt tougher than the first EcoQuest. Figuring out what to do and stuff like that. So like getting that cut piece was pretty easy, but then like what's next? Like I can't move into the screen. I know I should have everything that I need because this game can't dead end you, and you can't leave past the area where the rock is. And you can't even leave this island, which I figure out later, this little portion of the island won't let you swim back. So whatever I need is here, and I just can't figure out how to do it. The first thing you need to do is that little castle piece at the top. Actually, you need to press on it, and that is what will start the water. But that took me a while because I felt like I was just kind of clicking on everything and just nothing was working for me. And I was briefly worried. I think I even call it in one of my save games that says, please don't tell me I need that mask. Because I was thinking, oh, when you look at the child one, it says, oh, the face looks exactly like the mask. So right there, it says it looks the same as the mask. So I was like, it's not the forest one. And I was like, I think this is where I call it, please tell me I don't need. Yeah, tell me I don't need the mask. Because the mask is further back, right? And if I can't leave this area, then I'm at a dead end, which this game is not supposed to be able to do. You're not supposed to be able to dead end in this game. So after trying a few things, I thought, okay, let's walk back. And sure enough, you cannot leave the island. So now I am confident that everything I need is here. I just need to figure out how to do it. Like I tried giving the cups to them since I took their bowl, see if that's what it needs, you know, the cup of gold. And so finally I just began frantically doing everything. So it's there is where you put that cup, which is insane to me. Because that is not very clear at all, especially behind those vines. And then if you touch the top of that thing, then the vines get you. And even the plants are like, hey, you know, humans are bad. And one of them's like, hey, you know, not all of them are bad. And so if you show the forest heart, it'll let you go and saying, hey, he's one of the chosen. Then you press it again and the water finally kicks in. But now what do we do with the water? It seems like, okay, well, we got the water. Now we put the blossom up there with the bowl. And now it glitters. And now a plant grows, which is exactly what we need. This is why we're here, to help the forest heart. It seems kind of wild that Adam would pick that plant so early. You know, why not get it in a pot and grow it? Because now we don't know what's going to happen. It's not getting any soil or moisture. It's not good for a plant. So now he's digging. And so now when you jump down, Adam can be sneaky and stuff, but it's not clear what to do. I thought, let's sneak back to the helicopter, use the radio to call for help, like call our dad, but no, that's not it. Then I thought, oh, put the plant in there and it grows and traps him in there. Nope, that's not it. Sprinkle the gold around the cave. Nope, that's not it. Now what you have to do is trick him by putting the gold up there, and then he will go for it and the vines will grab him, which did not seem obvious. And then so you pretty much say, hey, no deals, and that's it. You think that's it anyway. He's trapped. So it's like, well, what do I do now? It's not super clear what we do now. Do we go to the helicopter, and now that he's captured, can we call the helicopter? But nope, that's it. We don't know how to fly a helicopter, and that's all it's going to tell us. And so I'm like, well, how do we call our dad to let him know that we're okay and where we're at? Because, you know, everything is pretty much resolved. We've got the plant. We've got the thing. Oh, that's right. We use the air bat whistle thing to call the bats to us. And our wonderful bat friend shows up. But she is not well. And so we get a little bit of water and give it to her, and she feels much better zipping around. And the other bats arrive, and they're like, hey, we're here to help. And she says, I can't go with you. There's something, and I can't tell you what it is. And so you leave without her, which is kind of heartbreaking. I mean, not as heartbreaking as when you leave the dolphin behind, because the dolphin felt like it was with you from the start. She just kind of joins you halfway through it and doesn't really do much. She just kind of hangs out. So there isn't as much of an emotional attachment to her. But the eagle comes, or the hawk comes and picks you up. You end up in the village. You take the plant and you plant it. And see, there's that girl again that I totally thought that Adam was going to be boyfriend-girlfriend with. And you see that the plant begins to grow. And so this is the first sign of the forest regrowing. And the native shaman says, yeah, you know, to understand your world, we will have to enter your world as well to understand it and protect it. And so you ask about your bat friend, and he says, blow the whistle. And so you do, and she shows up, and she explains why she had to remain behind. She actually has a baby. And so that is the first sign of new life here on the forest. And so the hawk flies you home, and that is the end. We save the rainforest. There is never EcoQuest 3, unfortunately. I would have probably played it. I don't know what they would have covered now that they did the ocean and the forest, but I really enjoyed the two games. Again, first one I enjoyed more. I thought it was more charming, had more characters to talk to, and you're really bound to that first character, the dolphin, that stays with you, as opposed to this one, the bat kind of joins you halfway through the adventure already taking place, and she doesn't do much. She kind of just hangs out at the hut. She's in the cage, and that's it. You don't get to talk to her a lot to form any kind of emotional attachment to her. So I do feel like the first one was a little bit better, but this was still a great game. Thank you as always. Love you all. Please click like and subscribe.